Hey guys, how's it going? Firebox here. Today, I'm going to show off the Nuclear Warlock build, but this time, no spells. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds crazy. Well, let me tell you. It's not as crazy as it looks. First of all, Phantomize, in solo play, at least, is very strong because it allows you to push against certain classes that you otherwise wouldn't be able to push against, such as rangers and fighters with a crossbow. And Blow of Corruption is just insane for magic damage scaling, and I'll get a little bit into the gear here in a minute. For the perks, the only real perks you can take, because most of the other ones don't really affect this build, is Anti-Magic, Dark Reflection, Malice, and Dark Enchantment. I cannot stress enough how useful Dark Reflection is. I have won multiple fights due to Dark Reflection hitting somebody after I hit them with my initial swing, because between my initial swing and Dark Reflection, it is just an overwhelming amount of magic damage, enough to kill most players, even those that are geared. I want to go over gear for a minute, talk about what I think is the best equipment that you can have for each slot, and talk about what stats are priority. My build is not optimized. This is just something that I've been running because it's just been working. I try not to spend too much time in trade. First and foremost, Crystal Sword. This is going to enable you to scale your magic damage, and the primary stats that you're going to want on all pieces of gear are additional magic damage, will, magic power, true magic damage, and /or all stats. Any of these stats are going to be good. From what I've seen, additional magic damage is going to scale you the most, followed by will. If you can get something like this, which has 3 will, 4 magic damage, that is an insane roll for a blue crystal sword. I wouldn't stress too much about going for, the double rolled best in slot type blues for Warlock. I'm able to do pretty good damage without going too crazy. My Shadow Mask isn't very good, but this kind of proves my point that you don't need ideal equipment to make this build work. As long as most of your equipment has the additional magic damage type stats, you're going to be able to do a good enough damage to win your fights. It is very important, though, that you get a Shadow Mask because it's going to have the 2 all attributes, which is extremely important for Warlock. For our chest piece, it's probably better to use the Mystic Vestments for the additional will, but I've kind of found that the 2 strength has been relatively useful just because it adds a little bit to your HP pool. It does have a little bit more armor at the cost of a little bit less speed. Speed is really important here, so it's kind of up for you to decide, but this one I got has 3 agility on it and 3 weapon damage, which is quite strong, making this a really valuable piece. For your legs, I'm going to recommend loose trousers because, to be honest, movement speed is king. If you can find any that has additional magic damage to it, definitely grab these. It is probably best in slot for your legs. For our shoes, I was using the Occultist boots because they're pretty good, magical power and additional magic damage, but there is merit to be had that for this build, you're going to want to just use Lightfoot boots because you are going to be significantly faster. You can actually see, because we had a pair that we were using that has really good stats on it. If we put these on, we actually hop up 2 full percentage points, which is a really big deal. So if you're looking to really optimize this build, I would probably go for a pair of Lightfoot boots. But again, you don't always have to build the very best build. If you find a decent pair of Occultist boots, you can use these to just fine effect. For the gloves, I am personally going to recommend riveted gloves because I think strength is still a really valuable stat. It's going to give you additional HP that is quite important, and if you can find additional magic damage on top of these, it's going to be really good for your build. For the cloak, I would say just get something with either agility, strength, or will. I think any of these stats are fine. We just happen to find a pretty good adventure cloak from the Skeleton Champion, which gave us the additional magic damage as well, making this a no-brainer to choose for this build. For the necklace, this really isn't necessarily the best one we could have chosen. It's just one that I was using because it had +1 all attributes. Ideally, you're probably going to want either, again, strength, agility, or will, and then additional magic damage and or plus all attributes. Any mix of those is going to be good for your neck. Same with your rings as well. I just kind of chose these because that's what I had, but any additional damage that you can add on top of those is just going to scale your damage even further. I want to talk about how I engage in PvP with this build. Because you do not have any range, it is very important that you play smart. If you're going against an opponent that has a bow, such as a ranger, or a fighter, you want to use your Blood of Corruption first, and then use Phantomize, because Phantomize lasts for 6 seconds, while Blood of Corruption lasts for 12. So you can use this first, then Phantomize, and then when Phantomize ends, you will still have enough time to use your Blood of Corruption as soon as you get out, which makes for very quick damage out of Phantomize, and you don't have to sit there and use the ability, which is going to take precious time that might be used for them to hit you first. There are also other matchups you want to be a little bit careful about. Barbarians can kill you very fast. We are very squishy. We're only sitting at 18% damage reduction, so you're very reliant on just making sure that you hit those headshots and you don't let them get those hits off on you first. You can use your Phantomize to dodge the Francisca axes, just like you would dodge the fighter or ranger's arrows. For other classes such as Wizard and Cleric, I have found that in general, you can actually Phantomize right on top of them. They can only hit you with the splash damage from Fireball, because most Wizards in solo, that's pretty much all they run is Fireball. And it's not going to kill you, so you should be able to win those fights as long as they don't invis haste away and then get away from you completely. But if they do, you can always just back away and reposition yourself and wait for your abilities to come back. Against clerics, you're going to want to make sure that you stick right on top of them if they're using Holy Strike, if you do Phantomize into them, because if they hit you with that, you are going to take big damage, and you need to make sure that they're taking that damage too, or missing, because if they do miss or hit themselves, you will probably still and will kill them in one shot with Blow of Corruption. Rogues are usually pretty easy. You will pretty much one-shot them, but if a rogue catches you off guard from stealth, you are squishy enough that you will just die almost instantly if they have any semblance of decent gear. And bards, you kind of want to just play similar to other classes. They're going to try to throw drums at you, hit you with crossbows. Just use your Phantomize, run up to them, and it should be okay. If any classes end up having better movement speed than you do with Phantomize on, I would recommend that you just back away, reposition yourself, and try to kill them at a different point. Because if you keep trying to charge somebody when your abilities are on cooldown, you're probably just going to die, because that's really the only utility that this build has. With that said and out of the way, I think this build is pretty good. Let's go ahead and start the montage. Enjoy the video. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you liked the video, give it a like, sub to the channel for future content, and comment below any suggestions you might have. I want to take a moment to thank Kid Brutal, Old Duck, and Gamatron for supporting this video, alongside our other members. Thank you all. Have a good day.